What's up, everybody? A little late tonight, but had a lot of things I was working on, and just now getting settled in at the house and trying to be more consistent with my daily habits. And had a good coaching session today with my man Pat Precourt, and we talked about the importance of staying consistent and how to change, how to start good habits. What's up, Brandy? Barkman, what's cracking? How you doing, buddy? So the other day in the office, we had a completely packed waiting room, and I'm going to turn the light on here quick. And there was about 25 of our employees. Here we go. About 25 of our employees, and about 5 or 6 of these people were new. And we actually got together. My friend Pastor Danny had come by because we just did our first deal together, and he had to come by and sign some paperwork. And I can't find my headphones. But anyway, so he came by, and he happened to be in the office. And as people were walking through, they stopped and recognized him from our videos and stopped to say hi. And Pastor Danny's just a real genuine dude, and loves to meet new people, so I started walking him around the office. And what's up, Kelsey? Hey, Jamie, Chanel, what's going on? Mrs. Landis, good to see you. And so we're sitting there talking, and slowly this crowd of people builds, and next thing I know, literally everybody in our office is there. And it just felt like the right time to pray for Carrie. Carrie Glover, a lot of you guys know, is a friend of mine, and he's my son's basketball coach and a dear friend of me and my family. And he had just had surgery that morning on Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, it was super fresh. He had just had the surgery, and I asked Pastor Dan if he would mind saying a prayer, and of course he was willing to do it. And I went around the room and just introduced every single person except for one. And she had been with us about 3 weeks. We hired her through a temp agency. It felt horrible. Like I literally named every person and what they do, and I couldn't think of her name. Matter of fact, right now I can't think of her name, but it's just I don't see her. She's kind of in a space in the office where I just never really make eye contact with her or see her. And she works for our retail construction company, and I literally have minimal to no interaction. And I've seen her. We've exchanged hellos, and I knew that we hired her, but that was about it. And I felt horrible. And, when the time came, I said, I'm sorry, I forget your name. She introduced herself, and we moved on. But it stuck with me, and I felt terrible about it. I didn't say anything at the time. Shortly after Pastor Danny led us in prayer, we went on to doing our own thing. Everybody went back to work. But I thought about it all night. And normally I think I would have just kind of let it go, and, I could justify that it was okay, but I decided that it wasn't okay. And even though I didn't think it was a huge deal, I just didn't want her to feel slighted or snubbed because of the owner of the company that she works at didn't know her first name. So today, while she was working, I pulled up a chair beside her and said, I owe you an apology. I take pride in having a relationship with everybody here. And I just want to let you know I'm sorry. I messed up yesterday. I should have taken time before now to say hello, get to know you, and at a minimum, after being here for 2 weeks, I should know your name. She's our bookkeeper for Clear to Close Renovations, and I felt terrible that I didn't know her name. And maybe nobody else thought it was a big deal, but I didn't want to leave it to chance that she felt hurt or upset or overlooked. Mandy is her name. Thank you. And she was floored and said, I never thought twice about it. You're always busy. You got 1,000 things going on. You've hired 10 new people everything she said was true, but it just wasn't okay with me to have potentially had someone that works for me and is doing her best. She does her best every single day at work. And I just didn't want her to feel a certain kind of way about that. And I didn't want to leave it to chance. So ate a big old piece of humble pie. And she was so grateful. I mean, she felt so special because in her eyes and her words, she didn't expect me to even know her name. And, it was enlightening for me. I felt good that I did it. I felt great that, at the end of the conversation, I turned a potentially, touch and go situation or difficult situation to a positive experience for her. And I think it's just a thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Ask her about it tomorrow. I think she'll tell you. She was grinning for ear to ear. It was like a 5 or 6 minute conversation, and I apologized profusely 15 times. And you guys have seen me on here talking about each day how I try and go out of my way to have an impact. And I don't keep score, but today I knew that was a chance for me to do something right, for me to do, something that would have an impact on that person. And whether or not, what if she did feel bad? What if she did feel embarrassed? What if she did feel unappreciated? And, by me having that conversation, at least she would have known that I cared, that I messed up. I couldn't go back and change the interaction. I couldn't go back and change the fact that I didn't know her name after being there for 2 weeks. But at least I took responsibility for it and knew that I looked like a jerk. And even if I'm the only one that thought I looked like a jerk, who more important than the guy that runs the place or owns the company to be aware of how his actions affect every person in that building? And it's something I'm really, really focused on, and I just feel, better each day that I learn stuff like that. I'm so thankful for my coach, Pat Precourt, that he's given me this awareness about my actions and how they impact people, and how to handle situations like that. I can honestly say it wouldn't have been too long ago that I would have just avoided that conversation and would have went about my business and hoped that she got over it and, maybe cracked a joke or said something to her in passing a couple days later. But that just wasn't good enough, and I knew it. And I wanted to take responsibility for what I did and make sure that she felt appreciated and make sure that she knew that I was sorry, whether I was right or wrong. I knew 24 other people's name in that office and didn't know hers. And there's a chance she could have felt, embarrassed by that. So, if you feel like you did something, I guess the lesson would be here, is one, just me sharing with you, a situation. And if you find some guidance or a lesson in that, that's good. And, Matt, you did, and I'm proud of you. We talked about that situation, and I feel you handled it correctly, and, I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm honored to have you on our side, knowing that you take so much pride in what you do and aren't too big of a person to admit when you're wrong. I think that's what makes you such a good fit for us. You definitely lead with integrity, and I admire that about you. But so if anybody can just take a lesson out of this, is no matter who you are, you're never too big to apologize. Whether you did something wrong or it came off the wrong way, or you said something and you don't think it's wrong, but maybe it was misinterpreted. Like, don't take it for granted. Thanks, Mike Gordon. I appreciate you, brother. Jack, what's up? Just get over yourself and apologize. And you wouldn't even have to apologize for doing anything wrong. You could just apologize for, hey, Steve, I realized at the end of our conversation yesterday that maybe you weren't happy with the way that went. And I just wanted to take a minute and give you the chance to talk about it. And, the last thing I want to do is upset you. And, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that interaction yesterday didn't go the way that you wanted to. I feel very confident in the decision that I made, but I want to make sure that you and I have a chance to square things away. And I want you to know that I do care about, how you feel. And I don't want you to do something just because I told you to do it. And are we good? Is everything okay? And, 9 times out of 10, you might get a response from somebody who goes, yeah, man, what are you talking about? I'm all good. And they might not have been all good, but they might really now be okay because they were more focused on the fact that maybe you didn't appreciate their position or care enough. What's up, Gene? Or care enough to even ask, whether or not they were okay. And I think a lot of times we take for granted how much people want to be appreciated. And so if you do something and you think it didn't go well, apologize. Like, don't be too proud or, too cocky to stop and apologize to somebody. And again, it won't even have to be for something you did wrong. Gordy, what's up? It don't even have to be for something that you did wrong. It'd just be for the way that something you did right was, taken or received, or how it impacted that person. And, I think you'll be pleased with the results. I could tell that she was happy that I took the time out of my day to just check in on her and make sure that, that situation wasn't bad and that she wasn't embarrassed or felt slighted because I didn't know her name after 2 weeks. Again, we're talking about, a big, kind of deal that we had in our office the other day that was like an impromptu prayer that we had for our good friend Carrie. And my friend Pastor Danny had stopped in the office and was signing some paperwork for one of our joint ventures that we're doing with York First Assembly of God, Integrity First Home Buyers, and CR Property Group. Had partnered up on a real estate investment deal to help the church raise money. And he had stopped in to sign some paperwork, and people just kind of congregated in the waiting room. And next thing I know, Pastor Danny's leading us all in prayer. And I went around the room and introduced him to everybody. And, even when I say it again, I'm embarrassed, but I forgot Mandy's name. Mandy's been with us about 2 weeks, and she is the person in charge of our accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and all of our bookkeeping for clear to close renovations. And I don't see her much, hardly see her at all, based on where her office is, and I don't interact with her on a daily basis. But I should have known her name. I should have made it a point to know her name, and I felt terrible when I introduced everybody and I didn't know her name. So what's up, Scotty? Michael, how are you? Donald, what's up, bro? And when we went around the room and I didn't know her name, I felt like a piece of crap, and I was worried that I hurt her feelings or upset her, and it bothered me all night. And this morning I went out of my way, put up a chair next to her today and said, "I owe you an apology. I'm sorry." And she honestly didn't care and didn't expect me to know her name, but she really cared so much about the fact that I stopped in and checked on her, and that, I took time out of my day to make sure that she was okay. So that's it. This video was supposed to be about 60 seconds long, but I have a tendency to ramble on. But this was an opportunity for me to have an impact on somebody. I swallowed my pride, sat down and did the right thing, and I'm glad I did it. Justin Jackson, how are you, sir? It's good to see you. Chris Markey, my brother, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for checking in. I need to get some fall Integrity First Liz Hamburger team clear to close gear from you. I know we ordered some stuff, like some hats and stuff from you, but I need to get some pullovers, jackets, fleeces. Oh man, we need all kinds of stuff. The normal, the normal fall and winter gear. I think I'm getting sick, or I just got a dry throat from talking too much. Tomorrow I got a big day, and Gordy, thanks, brother. Salute to you, man. Excited for Friday. Cam's been working hard this week. He reports back to me that he's getting a lot, if not most or all of the reps at QB. So. Should be an exciting Friday. The team's clicking on all cylinders right now. Savion's hit his mid-season stride and is just, I've seen him in the Max Preps today. I don't know if you saw Max Preps. Liz, what's up? But Gordy, you see Max Preps, they had him as one of the top 5 players. I think it's in the state for the performance that he had. But Cam's super excited to possibly break that starting lineup. Proud of him. He's been working hard. He's been patient. And it might be his chance, might be his time. And if it's not, we'll just keep working. Mike, I got hoodies for all of you guys for free, bro. You don't have to buy one. Just make sure D and Matt have a head count of, your normal crew. If there's 2 or 3 of you, we'll get you guys some hoodies and T-shirts and stuff, bro. Yeah, man, you've been one of Cam's biggest supporters all year, so we appreciate you, bro. Just know that doesn't go unnoticed. He's excited, he's nervous, but I also think he's ready, he's poised. He's been mentally preparing for this type of opportunity for quite some time. Never on this stage, never with this amount of expectations for this team. I mean, we're the talk of the town, man. It's like people talk about Central, York High, and York Suburban. We're not accustomed to being in those conversations. Matt Marshall, what's up? So we're excited for Friday night. York Suburban's on a roll. Major favorites for Friday night, and Cam's been working hard to get ready, and if and when he's called upon to do his thing, he will be ready. Travis, he didn't change his number. There was an equipment malfunction, and it appears that number 14 is MIA. So Camden is wearing number 18 for now, and he had a pretty good game last week. He had a big play, and he told me he might just stick with 18 because he feels like that's his lucky charm. So he might stick with the 18. Mindy Kaufman, how are you? Pam! Pammers 445. Best sister-in-law ever. Good to see you. You should be getting ready for bed. I know I am. The girls are about to lay down. I got to go tuck them in, but wanted to hop on here and just Lily did. She might have taken it, except he never brings it home. They leave their uniforms at the school, and the equipment manager takes care of that. But listen, here's the lesson. Yesterday, I felt like during an office, an entire office interaction where everybody was in the same place. I was going around the room introducing. This is the last time I'll tell it for everybody that just hopped on, but I was going around the room introducing everybody to a friend that had stopped by, and out of 25 people, I knew 24 people's names, and a young lady, very hard worker that's been with us for 2 weeks, I didn't know her name. I didn't forget it. I just flat out didn't know it. And I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed for her. I felt horrible. And I didn't get a chance to say anything to her yesterday. Wasn't sure what to say. I was so embarrassed. And last night it bothered me. And this morning I swallowed my pride, pulled up a chair next to her in her office, and just said, I'm sorry. I suck. And I, appreciate the work that you do. Everybody says, you do such a great job. And I apologize for not spending more time with you sooner. And one of the things I try and do as an owner and a boss and a leader is have some type of personal relationship with everybody I work with. We don't have to be best friends, but I like to know who they are. I like to know who their family is. I like to know, what makes them tick. Why do they go to work every day? What are their goals? What are they scared of? Just literally everything. And I think that's why we have, such good relationships with the people that we work with. And it kind of sets the tone that everybody kind of follows that lead. And I know it seems tacky or cliche-ish, but we're more of a family than we are, just people that work together. And it's really reflected when we get outside of the office. Everybody's really just, able to be themselves. Mandy, what's up? How you doing? Hope Toby's doing well. I see that he's having a great season. And I wish you guys the best of luck on Friday. So anyway, be humble enough to admit when you're wrong, apologize. And I'm scared of going bald. I mean, Matt, I should help you overcome that fear. When bald looks this good, what do you have to worry about, brother? And I still get to go to the barbershop. So how cool is that, right? I got bald. I got, saved tons of time in the shower, and I still get to go to the barber and talk about football and all that good stuff. So prayers for Kerry. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. His family appreciates it. And, we'll take all we can get. He's got a long road back, and he's doing well. Kerry's walking already, Travis. He's in recovery. He's walking. He's going through some therapy. Biggest challenge right now is just managing the pain and, getting back to, some kind of normal for him when it comes to getting around. He walked for a little bit today with no walker. So they're hoping to send him home in a couple days, but he's, far from being back to 100%. But I would say he's, getting closer and closer every day to being in the clear. Proud of him. And, not many people would have made it out of that situation as quickly and as safely as he did. And there's a lot to be said for that man and his family and the support and love that he has around him, which is just a result of the way that God lived his life. Like, those people just didn't all of a sudden care so much about him. It's just the way that he's lived his life, how selfless he is and how much of himself he gives to everybody. And it's a real eye-opener when you see something like that happen to somebody and then everybody literally rallies around him. And you got to believe that that played a major part and how successful his recovery's been so far, how successful the surgery was, and how quickly he's rehabilitating and getting back and gaining his memory and getting his alertness and awareness and his speech. The guy was Facebook messaging me today and texting me, and he was joking like he normally does. So it was great to see him getting back to normal. But I'm gonna let everybody go. It's getting late. I got an early start tomorrow. I start my day at 8 o'clock in our Maryland office. I try and get up in the morning and exercise, so my day's going to start around 5:30. I also have to wake up Camden Brewer, number 18, QB from York Suburban. He is taking him and 4 of his buddies up to the practice field at 6 o'clock in the morning. Sonia Brewer, what are you doing? You're supposed to be upstairs giving the girls a bath. I love you, though. And hopefully you're proud of me that I came downstairs so that I wasn't talking so loud that I might wake up one of the girls. But anyway, Camden will be at the practice field tomorrow at 6 a.m. till about 7 a.m. working out with about 4 or 5 of the varsity players. A couple receivers and some offensive players are going to go up there and all work together. And bottom line is today, the lesson for me was be humble enough to admit when you're wrong and be aware of how the things that you say and the things that you do affect the people around you, because sometimes you may not even do something wrong. You might not say something wrong, but sometimes it's all in how you say it or the timing. And if you're watching the reactions of the people around you and you care about their feelings, you'll know when the right time is to apologize. And today I was reminded how much that could mean to that person. She was super thankful. We left that probably with a better relationship than we would have had if I did remember her name. And, for that, I'm grateful. It was a lesson for me, and I'm just passing on what I learned, and hopefully you guys can get something from it. So I'm happy to share. You guys have a great night, and I'll probably see you tomorrow morning on my way to the office. Later, y'all.